out or the way in. I am whatever doesn't know either the way out or the way in. Let us look each other in the face. We are Hyperboreans. We know well enough how remote our place is. Neither by land nor by water will you find the road to the Hyperboreans. Even Pindar, in his day, knew that much about us. Beyond the north, beyond the ice, beyond death. Our life, our happiness. We have discovered that happiness. We know the way. We got our knowledge of it from thousands of years in the labyrinth. Who else has found it? The man of today. I don't know either the way out or the way in. I am whatever doesn't know either the way out or the way in. So sighs the man of today. This is the sort of modernity that made us ill. We sickened on lazy peace, cowardly compromise. The whole virtuous dirtiness of the modern nay, this tolerance and larger of the heart that forgives everything, because it understands everything is a sirocco to us. Rather live amid the ice than among modern virtues and other such south winds. We were brave enough. We spared neither ourselves nor others, but we were a long time finding out where to direct our courage. We grew dismal. They called us Bavites, our fate. It was the fullness, the tension, the storing up of powers. We thirsted for the lightnings and great deeds. We kept as far as possible from the happiness of the weakling, from resignation. There was thunder in our air. Nature as we embodied it became overcast. For we had not yet found the way. The formula of our happiness. A yea, a nay, a straight line, a goal. Let us look each other in the face. We are Bibidians. We know well enough how remote our place is. We have discovered that happiness. We know the way. We got our knowledge of it from thousands of years in the abyss. The problem that I set here is not what shall replace mankind in the order of living creatures. Flat is at an end. But what type of man must be bred, must be willed as being the most valuable, the most worthy of life, the most secure guarantee of the future. This more valuable type has appeared often enough in the past, but always as a happy accident, as an exception, never as deliberately willed. Very often it has been precisely the most feared. Hitherto it has been almost the terror of terrors, and out of that terror the contrary type has been willed, cultivated and attained. The domestic animal, the herd animal, the sick brute man, the flat earther. The domestic animal, the herd animal, the sick brute man, the flat earther. With this I come to a conclusion and pronounce my judgment. I condemn flat earth. I bring against the FE Church the most terrible of all the accusations that an accuser has ever had in his mouth. It is to me the greatest of all imaginable corruptions. It seeks to work the ultimate corruption, the worst possible corruption. The flat earth debate has left nothing untouched by its depravity. It has turned every value into worthlessness, and every truth into a lie, and every integrity into baseness of soul. Let anyone dare to speak to me of its measured flat blessings. Its deepest necessities range it against any effort to abolish distress. It lives by distress. It creates distress to make itself immortal. For example, the worm of measured flat. It was Nathan that first enriched mankind with this misery. The everyone measures it flat. This fraud, this pretext for the rancunes of all the base-minded, this explosive concept ending in revolution, the modern idea, and the notion of overthrowing the whole social order. This is flat earth dynamite, the measured flat blessings of Oakley forsooth, to breed out of flat earth as a self-contradiction, an art of self-pollution, a will to lie at any price, an aversion and contempt for all good and honest instincts. All this to me is the measured flat of flat earth debate. Parasitism as the only practice of the cult, with its anemic and holy ideals, sucking all the blood, all the love, all the hope out of life. The beyond is the will to deny all reality. The flat is the distinguishing mark of the most subterranean conspiracy ever heard of. Against mental health, well-being, intellect, kindness of soul. Against logos itself. This eternal accusation. Against flat earth debate. I shall write upon all walls, wherever walls are to be found. I have letters that even the blind will be able to see. I call flat earth debate the one great curse, the one great intrinsic depravity, the one great instinct of revenge, for which no means are venomous enough, or secret, subterranean and small enough. I call it the one immortal blemish upon the human race. And mankind reckons time from the dies Nefestus, when this fatality befell, from the first day of flat earth debate. Why not rather from its last, from today, the transvaluation of all values?
And I hope this is coming through. We're back live. Coming live from, wait a minute, let me, I don't think I got the Discord. There you go. Discord through as well. So if anybody, hopefully everybody that's listening can hear Elder Bear and me. No.
Yep. Good evening. Been a long time.
Yeah. Been a while. That was just a bit of a tune I've made. I've been doing quite a bit of that sort of stuff, but we'll get around to that. We have here tonight, and we are at Worldwide Debate Discord server. We've always been coming from Discord servers, but this one's a new server that Riggs, everybody knows in the arena, probably knows Riggs. He's set up a Discord server. This is like a special room that he set up to give us this, so we can do that. It's got all of the top level sound, so you know you can use all of that, and we're going to be using sort of the screens or whatever, for sharing screens to be able to go over stuff. So if anybody's struggling for doing live streams or anything like that, and you want to find a setup or a place you can do it, all you have to do is record, this yourself, like I'm doing here. I'm just, it's just a straight output from the Discord, which Riggs has supplied to us. We do have our own Discord, and we've always been doing that, but I think it's worthwhile promoting Discord in this day and age where everybody's doing using other platforms and stuff. So thank you very much. And go on.
Yeah, well, we've got to follow Nathan's lead, traveling around to other Discords and promoting other content creators and things, thanks to Riggs for, having this space, really, giving it some free space. So, he's got another room that's going on for his other stuff, and, people can come over and do their thing if they want to use it.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's good, isn't it? Eventually, this is just a practice for us to go over this sort of stuff. But I mean, if it works, I mean, it's an open platform that people can come and have a chat and join in with if they want. I do have plenty of things to go over.
Yeah, I mean, it's not moderated either, is it? I mean, Riggs is not moderating anything here.
Yeah.
It's not like going to another Discord in a room where it has its mods in place, and you don't get to do your thing. This is like a creator's space to present some things, do your thing. So it's got that as well. It's not a closed space with moderation from the server owner.
Right, let me get this out here now. See if I can. It's all right. So, do you want to have a go at talking about what this is tonight that we're going over? Seeing as I think you featured quite heavily in most of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's say, I mean, I came to this topic through, it just came on my table. The flat Earth came up in some, local independent radios and independent radio stations I heard in the UK. That's kind of where I heard it first. And talking, I think he did have Dave Weiss on, and it was the first time I'd heard anything about it, and I'd heard about flat Earths, but and people who thought the Earth was flat, but I hadn't paid any attention to it at all. And and then I heard Dave on there, and the guy who runs the radio thing. It's more sort of politics and UK politics, world politics he deals with. But his audience has asked people to have a flat Earth, and so he was doing it for his audience, but he didn't want to do it. He didn't really, that wasn't his thing. But yeah, it got me thinking. So that's how I kind of thought, oh, I'll have a look, see what they're talking about. And I kind of came in search of flat Earth. That's what I did. Just a normal guy coming to find out, gain some knowledge. I thought, well, I might gain some knowledge here and learn something I didn't know. That would be great, like that search for knowledge. It's a great, worthwhile journey. It is for me anyway. So yeah, I'd come into that and eventually came across all this stuff, and had a few sort of, not run-ins with Nathan, but he was probably the first person I spoke to on the internet. In a live setting, a live show was Nathan Oakley, and questioned him about the sextant it was, and his adherence to at the time he was using Sustainable by Design, a citation to say that the Earth was measured flat with a sextant, and this citation proved that the person taking the angle was on the horizontal the observer was standing, it was called. So that's how he presented it, and I just didn't see it. I didn't see that the observer was standing on a horizontal. He was wobbling on a boat, taking an angle, measuring an angle. So, I listened to it a couple of weeks ago again, and was a bit embarrassed. Really, probably wouldn't say the same things I said then. But it was the beginning. I was just everyday guy coming along, kind of asking questions about some things. So yeah, so it was, and I have been on it for a while with them. Saying that the angle that they measure with the sextant, it's just an angle. It's two straight lines, 3 points meeting at a vertex. It measures an angle, and neither of those lines are horizontal. And that was been my position. And I've been saying, but neither of those lines are horizontal. And you say you can't measure an angle from a curve, and the sextant is an elevation angle, which employs a right angle triangle. And I didn't see that. I didn't see that in the angle that was being measured there, and I've been pushing that, for some time. And there's no horizontal there. I don't see it in that angle at all. And Yeah, so I'm thinking, well, if you've got no horizontal there, then in that angle, then surely you can measure that angle on any surface. Doesn't define the surface that you're on at all. It's on its own. And so it was sort of interesting to hear only a few weeks ago, beginning of December, on one of Nathan's live shows, was refracted curvature, and it was actually on a show that it was the first show of a presentation being done by Tenth Man, and his conversation with Perplexity AI, and he was it was kind of directed questions that was around his claim of what celestial navigation brings to flat Earth, and how it measures the Earth flat, and was looking for AI to support that in as much as it can do. So yeah, just at the big before he came on there, having a little chat, and Tenth Man said, "Oh, I'll come on in a bit and present my show, and this first part of it," and then refracted curvature. John made this statement. This is a warning to everybody out there. It started, and my ears pricked up, thinking, "Oh, what's this?" And it was in relation to the angle measured with the sextant. And he said, Elder Bear's correct. It doesn't form a horizontal. It's not an elevation angle. And I thought, wow, surely surely somebody's going to say something about this. And Man never said a word. Nathan Oakley never said a word. There's a little discussion amongst them, as you might hear in the recording. And I just thought, wow, they don't have an elevation angle. This is kind of key. This is at the core of this celestial navigation measures the Earth flat position. And I've only been addressing what I've heard. I'm not making any claims about it. I'm not making it up. I'm just listening to how people have presented the flat Earth to me, and how I've heard it, and the questions that arise in my mind. And they might be dumb from time to time and hadn't really thought them through, and somebody might help me and say, "Oh, this and this," and go, "Oh, okay, that's the angle you're looking at it. Let me think about that some more." And so that's kind of been my path, really, that led me to this little bit. But still, still just really a normal guy. Which sometimes difficult to kind of keep a handle on that in this arena, because people are only too willing to paint you into to be a certain person, to anathemize you is the word I've just come across. I think it's very pertinent. They want to make you the heretic, the traitor, and so my character here as Elder Bear has become something that's not me. But it's been fashioned by the arena, in as far as I've been a part of it, really. And yet I've only been asking questions. And when I find a brick wall, or a closed door, or a ban, a silence in the server mute, it kind of makes me think, there's why is that? So yeah, sorry, I was a bit long-winded. That's how I got to this bit. I mean, the spoil it. There's little videos and things here that will show what actually has been going on from this point of view, really.
Yeah, like you say, there is a narrative that's been built up about you, and I mean mainly because of
you, certainly.
me,
yeah,
I take it, right?
Yeah, you too.
That's the way it seems
yes.
to have been, right? And people like Palkis is put there, right? That everybody's like, we seem to have had a conversation now. It's got nothing to do with tonight, right? But this is an example. The other day I noticed that Brian had put a video out, and I know Brian from quite a bit ago. He he was in the meetings that we had with 10th Man when You know, they were discussing what they were discussing way back when, a long time ago. And Brian knows my position. It's not changed at all. But I said to Brian, I said, there's a fallacy I think you're committing. That, you know, I think you could do to have a conversation with us. And Brian wanted to make it public. And now QE and, you know, Flatsoid are both going over it. That, you know, they're all doing the similar sort of thing. Really?
Yeah. Mm.
They've got
a
fallacy.
I was listening to had QEs and a bit of Flatsoid because he's on live right now. And it just seems to be part of this attack the man. You know, it goes back to, right? I think. Yeah, I mean, remember when we were looking at, you know, it came into the conversation we had a while back, and we talked about, you know, heresy and heretics, and I looked at, you know, what heresy, you know, how it had been in the past. And in the UK, it was in Henry VIII's time, Tudor times, where people would pay a tithe to the church, to the local priest or the vicar, and it might, you know, yearly tithe 10%, and it might have been, you know, you've got to give the vicar or the church 2 of your sheep, and maybe you didn't give him your best sheep, and so he was a bit pissed off with it, and he spoke to his parishioners about it, and it is largely the root of what became heresy, that people then kind of looked down upon him. You know, he wasn't really, you know, supporting the church, and the ones that led from heresy, that you were speaking against the church, or you were speaking against the crown, led to treason. You know, a charge of treason, and maybe a death sentence. And the majority of those were rooted in a small disagreement between a small group of people that was, you know, built up into this big thing. And I just see, you know, parallels with that, if parallels a word we could use, you know, with that in this arena. I see that happening. People are just trying to blacken somebody's name, turn people against them, say this person has nothing worthwhile hearing. And I mean, that's how I came across you, because that's what I heard in the arena. I didn't hear you. I hadn't come across any of your stuff, but I'd hear your name coming up every now and then. This Bev guy, don't speak to Bev, and he's just negative things about, you know, and my journey up to then had led me to realize that the people that they said don't listen to, don't speak to, are probably the most important people to hear. And so, you know, I found you. I listened to, you know, lots of the videos you've done before I even spoke to you, and just because of that, we've had some great conversations over the last couple of years. I mean, I've grown a lot through it, and not a wart on Bev's bum, as Michael Kahn seems to think I am. You know, I'm nothing like that at all. We've had some great conversations. In fact, the best conversations I've had in this arena, and I value them, as I would with anybody else who I feel comes with something really genuine. So, you know, it's been good for me. And you know,
I think there's too much division, right, at the minute. There's too much division in this arena going on. It's about time we tried to bring people together, and even if that's just for a conversation, then we can all learn from it. You know, that's what we're opening up for. And obviously, as you've seen over the last few days, I've had a few conversations, and it seems like nobody's got any other content. They just go over conversations that we seem to have about things, and this is one of them. I think these conversations should have been had quite a long time ago, and the fact that they seem to get brushed under the carpet and not talked about is one of the problems with this arena. Now, a lot of people probably won't watch this, but you can guarantee that 10th Man, QE, Nathan Oakley, Brian's Logic, Flatsoid, you know, anybody wants to go over this sort of stuff. And so, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep to the arguments, and we are going to talk over these points. Now, I don't know whether this is going to come through. I might have to open up my desktop audio. Hopefully you don't end up with a double sound somewhere, because I have to use my video editor. Now, if you're in Discord, you can see the screen of the video editor, so you'll be able to hear this and us talking. But hopefully this should work, right? So what we're going to do is, I've sort of got my video editor open, and there's two clips, both of them concerning Elderbear and the elevation angle. There's a clip that John Refracted Curvature has made a bit not so long ago, and then there's the clip about Elderbear talking to Nathan Oakley here when Nathan came to this Discord server and did his live show from Worldwide Debates, the Discord server that we are at. So first off, I'm going to give you the clip so you understand what Elderbear's talking about in the later clip, and hopefully we'll be able to put some bits together. So you'll have to let me know on YouTube side whether you can hear this now when I start playing this. Let me just check. I've got my desktop audio. There's no double sound so far. Can you try talking Elderbear as well? Just make sure we're not double sounding it, or you might even...
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody in the
You might
YouTube
be the one
can
that
check
gets it double sound through Discord, right? So here we go. Play this.
Right, okay.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I could hear that. Yeah.
Did you guys hear that on YouTube? Bit of John. Right, so here we go. So this is John talking to Nathan and the Flat Earth Debate crew. Thank you very much. Here we go. So.
Incorrect. It isn't until you apply.
I don't think it was going through then. Here we go. Check that.
Claiming
Red body,
that you
but I didn't
create a
see.
horizontal with the two lines measured.
Is that better, Saragaki? I might have to take a bit for it to just go through. I'll rewind it a bit. Yeah, now you can, right? Okie dokie. All right, here we go. This is John. You right?
Claiming that you create a horizontal with the two lines measured from the C-sextant is incorrect. It isn't until you apply dip correction that you get your horizontal line. Just so people don't get confused about it.
Play it with the brakes.
Can you repeat that? What was that? You broke up for me a little bit. Repeat that.
You don't get a horizontal. You don't draw two horizontal lines with the C-sextant, or you don't draw a horizontal line with the C-sextant. When you draw your two lines, it isn't until you apply dip correction that your baseline becomes horizontal.
But it becomes horizontal.
After you correct for it, yes.
But that's because you're above so many feet above sea level, right?
Yes, but Edermeyer is saying that those two lines formed aren't horizontal. That's why he's getting away with saying that. He's correct.
And most people I talk to just say that they're imaginary, and that it's just imaginary lines. But it becomes the horizontal baseline once you correct for your height above the water. if you are on the water or if you are using a bubble sextant, then that correction is not necessary. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because you had nothing
if
to
you need
correct.
to- Sorry, I was going to say, so if you have a bubble sextant, you don't even need to do the dip?
No dip
Correct.
required. Correct.
Or theodolite.
Nice.
You're using the artificial horizon of the bubble. You correct with a mariner sextant because you're using the physical surface that you're standing on appearing to meet the sky in the distance.
Yeah, but they're denying that, though. The same thing with the elevation angle. They're denying that the horizontal baseline that the observer is standing on is not the ground.
Or not
Well,
horizontal?
he uses the horizontal plane that the observer is standing on, as far as I know.
That's what an elevation angle is. But what you measure with the sextant until it's calibrated with the height of eye is not an elevation angle.
Long pause. This is obviously.
Not to muddy the waters, but could you say it's just not the most accurate elevation angle? If you're using the basic horizon and you're 10 feet above the water and you do your elevation angle, you could still say it's just not your most accurate. And you're still using
Well, if you're
horizontal,
defining
right.
an elevation angle, if you're defining an elevation angle as being having a horizontal baseline, your baseline needs to be horizontal. So that's what the dip correction does. It makes it horizontal.
Okay.
And elevation means that it's horizontal because it's from level, which is horizontal.
I'm just going to forewarn you all. Today we're doing a presentation, or more accurately,
Okay. So that's a clip from a bit ago. I mean, if you're in Discord, or you'll be able to see that I've highlighted a few parts of that where John specifically tells Nathan, although none of them have ever touched the sextant or measured an elevation angle. John is definitely telling them with a sextant, you do not establish a horizontal. And I'm not too sure whether you're aware of this, but I'll let you in on it. You don't establish horizontals by correcting an angle. That's not one of the valid ways of establishing a horizontal. And that's what John has just said. So basically, John, well done, refracted curvature, sat in that room with those flat earthers and told them that their measurement method that they used for measuring that the earth is flat doesn't even establish a horizontal, which is a bit of a problem. And tie that together with the map not being the territory, I'd say flat earthers are in a little bit of a pickle. Now, as John rightly said in there, the Elder Bear here has been saying that you do not establish a horizontal with a sextant. When you're measuring that angle, you just do not establish a horizontal. And as John told them, Elder Bear is right to say that. He said that's how he's getting away with saying it. But, I mean, you can say it because it's true. You don't get away with saying it. You just can say it because it's a truth statement.
Yeah, I mean, it was back in April 2024 when I first spoke to Nathan on one of his shows. And that was that was the core of that then. So it's taken all this time, 2 years.
Yeah.
and I'm still stuck in my mind with in that position. Nothing's changed my feeling about that, about what's going on there with the sextant. I know they say there's a horizon over there, but there's a point. It's an apparent point. It's a constantly moving point. So and that doesn't factor into any of the lines of the sextant. Doesn't give them a horizontal between them and any of those points. So that was my question. How can you say that when I couldn't visualize it? Tried to visualize it over all this time, and I couldn't visualize how that was done. So it's, I've had a lot of flack for it. But yeah, that was eye opening.
Yeah.
So he said that. Wow, this is going to change something, surely, but
nothing. They've ignored
they're
it.
still saying it.
Yeah. It's as though he never said that, right? Whatever that was that John told them didn't sink in, right? He's telling them that you don't have a horizontal. And you can't establish a horizontal by correcting an angle. That's not...
No, the dip correction.
Yeah, that's not how
a whole
you
nother,
do it.
a whole nother issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Itself. But, just focusing on that. I mean, you didn't play the bit right at the beginning. He said, this is a warning for everybody out there. That was how he prefaced what he said.
I think I added
and so,
that in.
that was, it didn't play.
I think I put it at the beginning. Yeah, right. So what we've got now is that those clips, right? If at any point in time you can remember those bits where John said something and you want that to be played in this bit that we're about to do now, where you actually get to talk with John, then let me know and we'll do that.
Okay.
Right. So
that'd be good.
That's to let everybody know what John said. Now we're going to go over a conversation that Elder Bear had here on this Discord server. Thank you very much, Riggs. Worldwide Debates. The conversation was, so we can now get those clips and put them in there, so you know exactly what Elder Bear's talking about when he's talking about this with John and Nathan, and see how flat earthers misunderstand and misrepresent even the words that they've said. Okay, so yeah, we don't want to take this too long, do we? Here we go. So this is may even have a bit I've already done.
Look out for the equipotential word coming up very soon, no doubt.
Is refracted curvature available?
I don't see why not. There, John.
Refracted?
Yeah. What's the question?
Good afternoon. Good to speak to you. A few weeks ago, about a month ago, you made a statement. It began, this is a warning for everybody out there. Do you remember that?
This is a warning for everybody out there.
Isn't very topical, is it?
A couple of weeks ago. You're about to quote me on something,
go.
I'm guessing. Just say it.
Well, it was a claim. It was a statement you made to everybody out there. I can say what you said if you like.
I heard you the first time.
Yeah.
His response
Claim,
was...
well, what? All right, okay, I'll quote him. Claiming that you create a horizontal with the two lines measured from a C-sextant is incorrect. It isn't.
This is a warning for everybody out there. Claiming that you create a horizontal with the two lines measured from the C-sextant is incorrect. It isn't until you apply dip correction that you get your horizontal line. Just so people don't get confused about it.
Right, so there you go. That's that's Elder Bear talking to John and the actual quote that John said. That's why it was missing from the beginning, because I've obviously moved it to here.
you know, it's a warning, and so that so people aren't confused. You know,
or is it a
interesting,
warning
you know.
to not talk about it anymore?
I guess that could be that angle too. Yeah, I haven't
Because
really considered, you know. Yeah, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't bring this up in conversation because there isn't actually a horizontal there. Nathan,
Yeah.
stop mentioning the sextant and the angle.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he does talk
Yeah,
about
I
the
mean,
elevation angle a lot, Nathan.
Yeah, he hasn't stopped since then. You know, I've been listening carefully, and several people use it. He doesn't pull them up. He says it's an elevation angle. He doesn't give any caveats about dip correction when he says it, and people do say it. You know, since this statement was made, so it doesn't seem to have changed anything. And you know, I just found that it's been quite fundamental to, you know, for 2 years now. You know, the Earth is measured flat, and it's always this example of this angle measured to Polaris and latitudes and circles of equal elevation. That whole kind of rhetoric around that celestial navigation stuff.
Yeah, they even
And the
made
core
it into
is
a
this
triangle.
angle.
Yeah, some people make it
Yeah.
into a full triangle. They've been going on about this angle for years. I mean, whenever you hear them mention you can do fuck all with an angle, that's because of this angle. That, you know, they don't even know how they get it. Nathan's had a warning about, you know, talking about how this elevation angle magically appears. Because to him it does. This is his flat Earth proof.
Yeah, I mean, for all those people out there, you must have heard. How many times have you heard the sustainable by design citation? I think, you know, I used to think Nathan was getting £10 every time he said it or something.
I did.
He's on some sponsorship deal because he said it so many times. And, you know, I went to look for it and found it. And actually, it's a globe citation.
Yeah.
It says, you know, that angle becomes negative when the sun goes beneath the horizon. You know, and in the southern hemisphere. And I said, look, you know, you cherry picked it out of there. At the minimum, it means that you can get this same elevation angle on a globe. I mean, if it's a globe citation, you know, and it says that, and you just cherry pick the bit that says the horizontal the observer's standing on. When it's for a solar panel company and they're on a pitched roof or up a scaffold or something, or, you know, yeah. So, you know, I pointed that out, and I mean, stop using it. I haven't heard him say sustainable by design for a long time, or other people who are using it in 24/7 too, and, you know, posted it there. I go, hang on, you know, what's going on here? That was another one of the questions I asked. You know, God, no, I couldn't do that. I couldn't kind of hide behind. You know, if I was so sure about something, I couldn't hide behind a half truth of something and hope nobody notices, nobody mentions it, because, you know, it would be that's what these questions were about, to get closer to this understanding of what this flat Earth is.
Yeah, because
if it is there and you know it.
Thanks to Riggs, who allowed Nathan Oakley to have a room here. That was what made you able to ask him the question, right? To talk to Refractive Curvature about this very thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had access to him as well to ask this question.
No. Because like you, I've been banned on all those streams and platforms, you know, to be able to ask him, and it's pretty difficult. I mean, as you'll see, this this little clip goes on for quite a while. I'm always amazed I'm getting away with it, because, you know, it's quite hard to be relaxed and try and be measured with your questions, because you never know when you're just going to be cut off and server muted. It's very hard. It's not a conversation. As soon as you say something that Nathan picks on, or if he's on his live stream because he's using his technical noise gate, so he has to talk over you. because when it's on his YouTube, it blocks out your audio. If you compare a Discord stream, live Discord stream, and his live stream YouTube stream, they're very different. You don't hear your voice; you only hear Nathan's voice because he has to keep talking. Otherwise, his audience hears the other people talking, and he just refers to, see their light flashing, they're talking, they're trying to mute me because they're talking over me. But he just has a noise gate in his system that will block out anybody else's voice other than his. So it's a scam. So yeah, it's quite difficult sometimes to be able to, pose a question and get anywhere with it.
I'm talking about the conversation, right? You've literally asked if it's okay for you to ask John something, and then stated something, and then we've shown the clip of him actually saying that. And now, the challenge is, how much further into the conversation are you allowed to get with Nathan and Refracted Curvature? Obviously, because you've asked if it's okay for you to have a word with Refracted Curvature, and now I think Nathan's getting a bit hesitant to allow you to talk to Refracted Curvature because, well, it's a conversation it would have no control over, for the the output that he wants to be heard. Okay, carry on. Okay, so here we go.
Excuse me?
You don't get a horizontal. You don't draw two horizontal lines with a C-section.
I never said
You don't draw a
that.
horizontal line with the C-section.
Wow. You're obviously one of the people that didn't want to listen. I said.
Well, but you did go. You did go on to say.
Is a depression angle that needs to be accounted for to get horizontal. I stopped people.
Yes.
Saying what you said that I said.
He stopped people from saying what you said that he said.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a bit of a delay, so that was a bit difficult that day. But he never said that, did he? He never said that isn't part of his statement at all.
Well, this is what he said, I think.
Just as a warning for everybody out there, claiming that you create a horizontal with the two lines measured from the C-section is incorrect. It isn't until you apply dip correction that you get your horizontal line. Just so people don't get confused about it.
Right, so John didn't actually say that. He said it was a warning to everybody else to not say that. And I think when you were saying it, you were saying that Nathan Oakley was the one that was saying it. Right? He gets his elevation angle from... Well, I mean, really, Nathan's admitted he's never measured an angle. So Nathan Oakley doesn't even have an angle, but the one he gets is just an elevation angle. Right? He doesn't have to make a correction or anything in his head, even with the angle that somebody's giving him. He's already got an elevation angle, and that's enough for Nathan Oakley. So,
I mean, the angle is in the vertical plane. So that's, in my mind, that's the elevation. It's upwards. It's an angle, in the vertical plane. It's not an elevation angle as he would describe it. It would be a right angle triangle. And it's not there. It's just one angle. Like you say, you could do fuck all with an angle. That's all it is. Just an angle.
Because Nathan,
no triangle, no horizontal.
Nathan doesn't want to think of the dip part of that angle because it's related to a bit of geometric understanding, a bit of mathematical geometric understanding, right? There's lengths and distances and heights and sort of relationships of angles to be associated with. So Nathan doesn't want to have to bother with that. Geometry.
No.
He wants to stay flat for some reason. but it's not. It's
Yeah.
just an angle.
No, they leap over a lot between that sextant and the Earth is measured flat. There's a lot of parts in between that they just leap over, and they don't talk. Yeah, they don't talk about it. They don't talk about some of the technical aspects of it. How you would get there, how you could possibly get there. I mean, they bring up the bubble sextant a lot, because it's got a bubble in it, and so they say there's a horizontal already in the sextant. So flat Earth, flat Earth because there's a bubble in it.
Well, you could
And the marine
globe,
sextant.
get the Theodolite app. That's amazing. Everyone should have a go at buying that. It's only a few quid, but yeah, it's a fantastic app, right? And you can measure your angle to Polaris, providing your Polaris privilege. You could do that yourself, and you can see that is an elevation angle. That's but it doesn't matter at what height you're at, what elevation you're at when you're doing it. So it doesn't work like Nathan imagines it works. It doesn't prove anything about sea level, this angle, at all.
No, as much as they haven't used a sea sextant, they haven't used a bubble sextant either. And they're quite different tools. The bubble sextant, the bubble sextant isn't as accurate as the sea sextant, and it's not just like looking. Yeah, it's not like just looking through it the same as you look at a sextant, but it's not that. It's not a breeze. It's a technical piece of equipment. It's not just look at it and measure the angle on the arc at the bottom of the sextant. There's errors you have to take into account. There's all sorts of things. So, but I think that the same with the bubble sextant is it's got a motor in it. It's got a timer because it's over some time. It's a measurement taken over some time. The plane is moving and kind of an average really of that. And you can't tell me that a little bubble that's in the bubble sextant you would bring down onto the ground and measure the Earth flat with it. I don't know how big it is, centimeter, 2 centimeter bubble. There's no way you'd say, that was a standard to say the Earth was flat. Just putting one of those on the ground. That's kind of ridiculous, really.
That was sort of the thing that I was trying to tell Brian, right? That the maps are flat. That's a massive problem because just because the maps are flat doesn't make the Earth flat. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of really, silly looking people. Like, what? Nathan Oakley and Flatside and QE Brian's Logic have all noticed that the maps are flat. That means that the Earth's flat. It's like, no, it doesn't.
Oh.
Are you sure? Well, yeah, there's a fallacy here, right? The map's not the territory.
Yeah.
Just specifically for that reason, people. Because people did used to think that the Earth was flat at some point.
I know they've been saying, what fallacy are you talking about? Of course the Earth is flat and the map's flat, Oh, dude, stupid. The map is flat. But it is an actual fallacy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And by, forget the name is Kurbisky. What's his name? 1930s.
Kurbisky, yeah.
For
whatever reason, that fallacy was brought up and brought to light. It stops people from assuming that the Earth's flat because the maps are flat. Because that's obviously.
Yeah, I think. I think it came out of his observation that people were. There was a difference between reality and what they thought was reality, how they saw reality. So you look at a map and thinking that is reality, and then and there was a they weren't coherent together. And humans do that a lot. They imagine what they imagine they think is reality. And I think this goes on a lot in this arena. People who they just deny reality in order to fit a model. some kind of image or picture or something that's been painted to them. You know, this whole sextant thing. You know, I just think, you know, if you pass this lie on, this fallacy on, then so many people are just going to take it on, and you're not any closer to the truth.
The problem is,
And this is
as I
like from
see
people
it,
who are claim to be experts. You know.
yeah, there's no reasoning behind this at all.
No.
Not, you know, like Nathan just says it and he expects other people to say it. No different than Sean saying, you know, say globe. Say it's a globe. It's like, yeah, it is a globe. Everyone knows it's a globe. No, say it's this globe. Like, what does it matter? What do those words actually matter to anyone, really? Nathan's saying this is no different.
Yeah.
Just forcing you into saying something. But now, right, so what we've gone over is that there's a problem with the elevation angle. It's known about by John. I don't know who John is. He's the guy that gave up all of the other flat earth stuff to Ruhif. McDoo. Refracted curvature is a Blue Marble Science escape button now as well. That I don't know whether Nathan realizes that one of the Blue Marble Science, you know, escape things for, you know, excuses for something is actually refracted curvature. It has a value that is applied by Blue Marble scientists. So well done, John. You've been sat in there in the middle of the flat earth debate, which Nathan says there's never been a debate, so that's a complete lie as well. Flat earth's not looking good. And conversation, well, I mean, this is Elderbear now. Elderbear has to now try and push, you know, the conversation to get any further. So if now's the bit that if you want to get any of these other clips from earlier, put in here just to add in. But this is
so the sextant. So the sextant doesn't derive a horizontal and doesn't establish a horizontal. That's correct, is it?
You have to correct to it. Yeah, you have to create a correction.
So the sextant itself doesn't create any horizontal. It's not reliant on a horizontal baseline.
That's what it's producing. That's your end result.
But the sextant itself, is not.
That's sea level meets the sky, brother.
Let's just go back and get that again, because I think John started flapping here at this point. Shout out, John.
Yeah, I
think this is good. Listen.
That's what it's producing. That's your end result.
But the sextant itself, is not.
That's sea level meets the sky, brother.
Sea level meets the sky, brother. I don't know
That's
what
not
that means.
Sextant, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. what does that mean, John? Nice.
Red in water.
Yeah. Anytime anybody
drowning.
wants to come and have a chat, here we are. WD Discord server.
WWD, yeah, Worldwide Debates.
The
He
horizon.
did go on to say, Refracted, he went on to say, yes, but Elderbear is saying, hang on, Elderbear is saying that those two lines formed aren't horizontal. That's how he's getting away with it. Saying that, he is correct.
Yeah, they're not. The
Yeah,
two
but
lines
an elevation.
are
Let me just break that there. We'll go down here and try and find that bit.
Yeah.
But the two lines measured from the C sextant is incorrect. It isn't until you apply dip correction that you get your horizontal line. Just so people don't get confused about it. Or you don't draw a horizontal line with the C sextant. When you draw your two lines, It isn't until you apply dip correction that your baseline becomes horizontal.
Where's the bit where he talks about you? Is that?
Yes, but Ederbeyer is saying that those two lines.
Copy. Oh, just put that in there so they can see what this says.
That's how he's getting away with it. Saying that, he is correct.
Yeah, they're not.
Yes, but Ederbeyer is saying that those two lines formed aren't horizontal. That's why he's getting away with saying that. He's correct.
Yeah. So you were like, when you, as you're reciting this from memory, you're pretty accurate that you did. He did actually say that. Let's see, we go again.
Hang on. Elderbear is saying that those two lines formed aren't horizontal.
Like you've got it wrote down.
That's how he's getting away with it. Saying that, he is correct.
Yeah, they're not.
Yes, but Ederbeyer is saying that those two lines formed aren't horizontal. That's why he's getting away with saying that. He's correct.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good. So well done, John.
Quite close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two lines
An elevation.
eye, right? Your eye, where sea level meets the sky, appears to meet the sky, and to the celestial object, neither are horizontal. But where sea level appears to meet the sky is.
But it's not an elevation angle.
What's that?
We're trying to call on them.
He's trying to say this isn't
horizon.
horizontal, but where it is, that is. Listen.
Where sea level meets the sky, appears to meet the sky, and to the celestial object, neither are horizontal. But where sea level appears to meet the sky is.
Right. So let me get that. There's two lines. One of them's from where the sea level meets the sky, and the other one's to the light in the sky. But they're not horizontal, but where the sea level meets the sky is. That's John. Here we go. This is the short clip.
The two lines
an elevation.
eye, right? Your eye, where sea level meets the sky, appears to meet the sky, and to the celestial object, neither are horizontal. But where sea level appears to meet the sky is.
But it's not an elevation angle.
Oh my God.
Yes, it is. That's what you're using it for.
Wow. They've played the switcheroo there and just completely inverted what he said it's not. But, you know, Nathan has to have that there. Because, I mean, what's Nathan? If you take that away from Nathan, what's Nathan got? Sorry to say, Nathan.
That's what
you've been blinded by your own whatever. You know, listen to the words your friends are trying to tell you. It's not horizontal. Unless you're going to mentally make some sort of calculation, which I'm pretty sure we're not going to bother getting around to, how, you know, that's derived, because that's geometric understanding, which I'm hoping we can get around to at some point. But that's...
Yeah, I mean, they're desperately trying getting down to the water or get to the place, you know, the point on the horizon, the point where, you know, on the horizon that you're using the sextant, you know, they want that to be the horizontal, want that to be the angle that makes it horizontal. But for me, it's not, you know. For me, it's no more horizontal than the bobbing sea that's under the boat that they're on. And that's how I see that. and it's apparent. They wouldn't ever say it's geometric. They say it's apparent. I've asked them, is it geometric? Oh, it's apparent. Okay, so it's not a geometric thing then. It's an apparent thing. I mean, you observe that's constantly moving, that's over there in the distance. You can't even measure to it.
Yeah, that's not what horizontal is. I know because I've established horizontal. I've actually done it,
I know,
and I've researched it, and I think I know what I'm talking about. So
and every day when I go, pretty much every day I'm by the sea, and I look at it a lot. Look at the waves in front of me, and I can see varying distances depending on the day, and I can see it going up and down just as much out there as it is at my feet. And I think, well, that doesn't fulfill the no part being higher or lower than another. It doesn't fulfill that definition. Even if at distance you can look at it, but I couldn't prove that is so by observing it. Something in the distance, it looks toward the horizon, it looks horizontal. I mean, it can look not horizontal too. It depends on how on your eyes and things. It's would be very impossible to say it was from that observation for me.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it. So when they say that, I think, well, it's only a point you're using. You're using a point on that wavy water over there in the distance. That's apparent. You tell me it's apparent. It's not geometric. You've only got a point. You're looking at a pointer there.
Well,
place where you're going to...
measuring an angle, right? Now, at some point, like he said, you have to make a calculation. Now, how you make a calculation to an angle, right? But the result would only be another angle. It wouldn't be an orientation. Right? It's just, you're just adjusting an angle. You don't end up with an orientation. That's not how you establish horizontals. It might be in some sort of, arena within the narrative that people have set up that, they want to have debate in whatever that has some sort of meaning. But, I mean, it's not really. You're just measuring an angle and then adjusting the angle to some different angle.
Yeah. It's the same as when, they say eye level is parallel to surface level. I think, what? How? How could you say that?
Well, because they'd both be perpendicular to the same vertical, wouldn't they? Because they're both measurements on the same vertical. Yeah.
The same vertical, yeah. Your feet are at one point on the vertical, your eyes are on another. Where's that horizontal in the distance? How you're looking out. How could you possibly say that's horizontal? Just looking at something. Because they look at the horizon and seem to say that's horizontal, but it's obviously not. Can't be horizontal from your eyes, can it? It's a ridiculous thing to say. I just don't get that. That's why I had to question them about, what does level mean then? When you say sea level, what level are you talking about? Is it a different level from mean sea level? You kind of infer something when you say sea level proves that. Sea level proves it. What do you mean by sea level? Because when I look at the sea, it's not level. We're talking about mean sea level. That's something else. That's just a point on a vertical data. It's not horizontal. Just point on it where your feet are or where your eyes are on a vertical. There's no horizontal there at all. You couldn't say to a surveyor, look over there, Yeah, that's fine, lads. Yeah, where you are, I can see you. That's horizontal. Yeah, build there. Stick a stake in the ground, mate, And they do your construction. Do an observation of a man standing 300 yards away or something. And yeah, looks horizontal to me, mate. Can see your hat. It's just a ridiculous thing to say, I think.
Seems like we've got some upset viewers. Want us to do some drawings. I did the elevation angle one.
Well, yeah. You know, you have to remember that these, what's being addressed here is claims that people are making. You know, it's only questions about the things that I've heard people say and the things that people do say. You can hear John saying what he's saying. You heard what he said that. I was correct. It's not an elevation angle. These are just questions about that he said that. Because that's how I saw it originally and spoke about it. Now he's saying I'm correct after 2 years. And I'm fascinated by that.
So now, are you correct in your further conclusions that, you know, you can't assume that the Earth's flat from an angle that isn't measuring the thing that you think it is?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you know, for me, it's, you know, shit in, shit out, you know, garbage in, garbage out, isn't it? If you start with your measurement or your calculation or your whatever you're doing, your equation, and you start with, right, 2 + 2, that equals 5, and then you go on, then the error is always there. It's never going to change. You know, if you build an error into your whole premise, then the conclusions could be way off. So that's, you know, that's kind of been the thing. I hear something that doesn't make sense to me, and there'll be people in the chat say, "Oh, well, it's horizontal over there." Well, for you it might be, but I don't. That's not enough for me.
Flatzoid was doing the same thing,
to validate.
wasn't it? Like the map, the distances on the map are measured, and they're measured horizontal. They're horizontal distances, right? Doesn't make the Earth flat.
No, self-evidently so.
Yeah. But they can't seem to realise that. Like, just saying horizontal doesn't mean that the Earth's flat. And Nathan Oakley has led a group of flat earthers into believing that it does. And it's ridiculous, because I think there are some other dogmatic globe earthers that are also doing the same thing. They want horizontal to be flat Earth too.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Certainly. Yeah.
It just exists in reality. There's a load of people in reality that, you know, go about their daily lives just knowing that horizontal doesn't mean that the Earth's flat.
Yeah. I asked McToon a 3 weeks ago, you know, are you saying that anybody who can establish a horizontal reference is a flat earther? All those people out there, all those practical people, all those surveyors, you know, out there, you know, people who use tools and can establish a horizontal reference, because the fact that they can do, are they all flat earthers?
I don't want people to have to face that sort of stuff and the abuse that, you know, people get called about that sort of stuff. Nobody deserves it. So it's about time somebody started saying this is bullshit.
Yeah. I said to him, well, you know, if my daughter comes home from school and tells me that, you know, all horizontals are parallel to each other, you know, do I tell her, no, you're wrong, you better tell your teacher he's a flat earther? Or bring your teacher here.
Yeah.
Can you set that up and bring the teacher here so we can see if he actually believes that's so? You know, he's not going to be interested in this, is he? You know, but yeah, it's like that lie, isn't it? Where we came across, you know, a long time ago now, it seems. You know, yeah, well, we do tell them a bit of a lie at school. It's not till later that we tell them, well, we were lying. It's only a little lie, but I say it's you know, it's the error in the beginning of your equation. You know, you show you're working out and go, oh, look, see there, you said 2 + 2 = 5. That's your problem. See there where you said that's an elevation angle. That's your problem. Because for me, that's been the core of this measured Earth flat stuff. Has come from this root of the sextant, this angle that's measured, that measures the Earth flat. And then in this conversation here, you know, they're desperate to get to something that isn't the sextant. You know, the sextant alone does not give you, is not an elevation angle. It does not establish a horizontal reference. It does not measure the Earth flat. Oh yeah, yes it does. If you do this, if you do that. And that's where they don't want to go, yes, no, you are correct. And we will be telling everybody that you can't say that until you've done this extra bit.
Yeah, they
Whether
don't
they can
actually
explain that extra
even
bit.
realise how that extra bit comes in. And that's what I'd love
That's
to
what
have
I
a
mean.
conversation with Nathan. Nathan, really, I'm not, I don't want to have a go at any people. We're just talking about the argument, if you will, or the geometric principles that people cannot have an understanding of how this horizontal is derived from the angle. I mean, you don't need to have the tool. You just need to go over how you adjust this angle. Simple. I know I can go over it. But I'd like to see Nathan have a go at going over exactly how you incorporate the measurements and the geometry and all of that for doing it. The offer's open. Really. That goes for anyone, really, if you want to, sort of get together. This is the sort of stuff, I think, within the arena that needs to be talked about. It's been brushed under the carpet for years. 10th Man got upset at the you can do fuck all with an angle, obviously, because they're still carrying it around as a big massive chip on the shoulders. We get through a bit more of this,
because
otherwise we'll be here all night.
We'll be here all night. But Refractor did say in his quote, but what you measure with a sextant until it's calibrated with the height of eye is not an elevation angle.
Fine. So you're saying we have to correct the surface level? Is that what your point is? You have to correct it to
No, I'm
surface level?
saying that a sextant does not produce a horizontal reference.
Okay.
It does
So
not
you have
measure
to
the Earth flat.
So to get horizontal from it, you have to make a correction. Is that your point? Who cares?
No. The point is that you say that the sextant measures the Earth flat. But,
It does.
But refracted photo.
To acquire an elevation angle. That's its purpose. So you can derive circles of equal elevation with it.
Uh-oh. Do you hear that? That's it. Nathan, this is the...
To acquire an elevation angle. That's its purpose. So you can derive circles of equal elevation with it.
There you go. Nathan and his circles of equal elevation. Now, what Nathan assumes, because he's got mixed up between an altitude angle and an elevation, because now he thinks that these angles of equal elevation are actually angles of equal elevation, when it doesn't really matter what elevation you're at with these angles. Not that elevation, anyway. So now you're going to be confused about which elevation, because it doesn't matter if you go up the top of a mountain, you'll still get the same angle of elevation to you'll get your latitude, just as if you're not on a mountain.
Yeah, again, the sextant isn't doing that. The sextant isn't describing a circle of equal elevation. It's not doing that.
And it's not an
talking about a
equal
circle of
elevation, like a flat thing.
No.
That you think it's not like that at all either.
No, okay, no. It draws a circle. It describes a circle. If that's what you're talking about, a circle of equal elevation. It describes it. Yeah, it describes it on a map.
No.
Another question.
It doesn't actually describe the circle. Nathan's talking about a circle drawn on a map that he's derived from the angle.
Yes.
But he's never measured the angle. So when Nathan talks of this circle, let hear it again. There we go.
But refracted photo.
To acquire an elevation angle. That's its purpose. So you can derive circles of equal elevation with it.
You can derive circles of equal elevation with it. That's what Nathan's after. So Nathan's after an angle that he can imagine turns into a circle. Now, any angles that you can adjust and then draw circles with, because that's a fantastic procedure that you can definitely is doing a little bit more than fuck all, right?
Yes.
The statement says you can do fuck all with an angle, whereas Nathan has measured the angle, adjusted it, and drawn a circle all with just an angle. Unless he can sort of quote exactly how he derived his circle. Because the circle needs 2 points, right? Definitely.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this circle of equal elevation is being sold as being the same elevation on the ground. And what it means is that anywhere on that circle, you'll be able to measure the same angle to Polaris. Wherever you are, you'll be able to measure that same, whatever angle it is on that circle. It's got nothing to do with the elevation of the ground. It doesn't make the earth flat because you draw a circle. And as he says, it doesn't matter which elevation you are. You know, you could be on a mountain on that circle, or you could be on the sea.
Yeah, you're just
could
at
be
a
in a valley.
location measuring an angle.
That's
it. That's all you've got.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't describe a big flat circle. Let's say there's, you know, equal elevation. It's horizontal all the way on that circle. I mean, that's impossible. But I think that's what's been sold instead of seeing that it's actually an angle in the vertical plane, an altitude angle. That's the elevation. It's upwards. You measure an angle upwards. It's not the elevation of the ground. It's not like establishing a horizontal reference on a big circle and they're all on the same elevation. I think people are being sold that idea, or maybe they have that idea in their head, and that's not what it is. And it's certainly not from the sextant. You haven't got that from the sextant. It isn't an elevation angle as refracted, you know.
Sean's thanking us.
Clear in his statement.
Sean loves being correct. No problem, Sean. No problem. You are probably, well, you're probably correct about you loving being correct. Don't know what it was, thanks for, but no problem.
Not within itself, it doesn't.
Yes, that's exactly what it's used for. It's used for measuring
No.
the flat Earth to acquire surface level. So,
see, Nathan now has just gone from being told that it doesn't establish a horizontal into this. I'm guessing this is the defensive mode.
Yeah, he agreed. He agreed until.
Yes, that's exactly what it's used for. It's used for measuring
No.
the flat Earth to acquire surface level. So
it's used to acquire surface level. The sextant, I mean,
agreed
it's
that
getting better, isn't it? This angle.
Yeah. I mean, he agreed that it doesn't. It's not an elevation angle until you've done the dip correction. And then he says, yes, it does. It does establish it.
Yeah, it establishes level.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It's just a sextant. It measures angles. It's been given fantastic properties.
that you can have an angle called an elevation angle produce an area of equal elevation. That's what it's used for.
See, an area of equal elevation. He's giving you the wrong impression there.
That's what I said.
It's
Yeah,
not an
I believe
area,
that's what's
is
happening.
it? It's not an area of equal elevation.
No.
They're just locations where the angle is the same. That's it.
Yeah, and that's certainly what I believe, you know, majority of the congregation are hearing. You know, they're visualizing in their mind. Yes, same as 10th man's 5,400 nautical miles of flatness, 10,800 nautical miles of flatness. That's the image, and I think that's what's in people's minds.
It's all, I think this is because
It's
he's
impossible.
never measured an angle himself. And he won't. Most of the flat earthers won't measure this angle just to see, because once they do, there's a practical knowledge involved in it, you know, and there's then the processing has to happen. So they're much better off just not doing it. I think that's the thing. I mean, I don't think of all of the people I've asked about 69 in the globe, I don't think any one of them has showed any interest in even just measuring the angle to start off with. you know, just practicing outside their house, measure an angle to Polaris. Check it with your latitude at your location. Make sure, you know, make sure it's the same. See how accurate your equipment is. See how accurate the map is, or whatever, wherever you want to get it from.
Yeah, just check, see if it is anywhere near 69 miles.
Yeah.
Somebody gave it 69 miles. Somebody gave, 60 nautical miles, a 69 mile statute mile equivalent. That's what it is. That's what's been given. I mean, people seem to think it doesn't exist. It's been made up. Nobody's ever measured it. Why did they say 69? Why? Why would you say 69? What's significant about 69? I mean, 60 is the common denominator
For angles and time.
You're measuring angles. Yeah, time and angles. 360, 60 minutes, 60 seconds, 360 degrees. 60 is an easy, number to use. So that's why it was done. 1.1507 is the formula to convert it. So if it's not 69, why is it not 44? What's it 32? Why is it 69 if it's not 69?
Yeah, it's easy to check as well. Easy to check.
Yeah.
We need to get
the sextant only acquires an angle.
My bad. I'll just shout out Jardu. Wow, this show has started with a lot of flat Earth measurements. Love it. Do Globers have any Earth curve measurements without first using angle measurements from a horizontal plane? Asking for a triggered friend.
Like, I don't know, support from the super chat, but they don't establish a horizontal plane. Sextants don't establish horizontal planes through calculation adjustments to an angle that it's measured.
Thank you, Jardo, for the
or curve measuring tools.
Okay, so we can say clearly that the sextant does not measure the Earth flat.
Yes, it does. Yes, it's used for elevation angles to derive circles of equal elevation. I've just explained this to you twice.
So that's a double down again from Nathan, that thinks that you can derive an elevation angle from an angle and draw a circle. This is what we've been trying to talk to people about, and Nathan gets to talk about it in his own show. Nobody clarifies what he's talking about. I don't know how many other people think this is. It's only a short clip.
Okay, so we can say clearly that the sextant does not measure the Earth flat.
Yes, it does. Yes, it's used for elevation angles to derive circles of equal elevation. I've just explained this to you twice.
So from that, you can gather that Nathan thinks that the sextant measures the Earth flat. An angle measuring device measures the Earth flat. And John has told him at a different time, admittedly. I mean, Nathan won't have heard what Elderbear said because we've got the clips, So now, hopefully, if Nathan gets to hear this, or, the actual clip when I put the video out from the video editor, if he gets to hear that, he'll hear what John has said, that the actual sextant doesn't establish a horizontal. John thinks you have to calibrate it with the height of your eye, which is another matter altogether. But I guess that's for Nathan and John, whatever, to sort out how they're going to deal with this now. Because Nathan still needs his elevation angle, obviously. He can't draw circles, whatever that means to him, without that, right? But I'd say I warn Nathan against the circle drawing. It's going to cause more problems than solutions, I think, Nathan. But, I mean, you've already put yourself in this position, as far as I see. It's a pretty tricky position that he's in right now, Nathan. I don't know who's there to help you.
Yeah, at some point he's going to have to, consider the measured flat destructive dichotomy. That's for another day.
That's
All
another
paths
argument.
lead to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First principles
he
first,
doesn't wanna-
right? Always, always, always. First principles first. So start off with, I think this is Nathan's nearest and dearest. The only thing he's got after this is measured flat, and that's when we get into the destructive dichotomy.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see how far he gets with this.
So is the equator formed by the circle of equal elevation?
Yeah, you calculate that from the angle that you
try
measure.
again.
You can try
Yeah,
again.
So the
try
equator
again.
is a circle. So the
Right
equator
there.
is a circle of equal elevation.
See, I think this is a bit where I could say, I think you were a bit too hesitant there, because John was trying to get in, and he was like nudging Nathan for him to try. So you should have noticed that and stepped by and sort of prompted Nathan to shut up while John was talking. That would have worked a little bit better, but I mean, I don't know. It gets a little bit tricky. John's trying to come in now, but Nathan's trying to take the lead. You've got them, maybe a bit of heat between them.
Equal elevation, so same level. Yeah, welcome to flat Earth. That's right. We use
No,
areas of
it doesn't do
elevation
that.
of equal altitude.
Well,
It's flat.
no, that just means that on any. No, it just means that on any point.
Equator is on screen for my
Yeah.
audience now. Is this cross section through the center of Earth? This flat plane that is used to derive things like latitude angles. Here's an example of a tangent plane derived from the equatorial plane, which is the flat surface that the angle measurement that you'd use a sextant to acquire would be applicable
for this.
inside a ball. This
know what
particular
he's
ball doesn't
talking
have a
about.
map pasted over the top of it.
It's certainly on the video.
Acquired by a sextant
Yeah, he did a
with
similar
respect to
sort
a
of
flat
thing
plane
today,
surface
didn't he?
called the equatorial plane, as just highlighted
Yeah.
by Elderbear. That's right. It's a circle of equal altitude, an area of equal elevation.
it is on his video to get it.
Flat. That's correct, Elderbear. That tool, sextant, would be used to acquire this angle on screen.
Well, thank you.
from the
That's
centre.
nice. Good confirmation. Thank you. It's handy.
That's right.
But the
Confirmation.
sextant itself
Earth
does
is
not
looking
measure an
at
elevation angle.
What you can see on
So the
screen
sextant
now.
does.
The graphical
The
example,
sextant I
not
was talking
mine.
about.
This has actually come from.
I was
a
talking
ball
about the
believing
sextant.
idiot book about balls.
I was talking
Meanwhile,
about the sextant,
describing the
Nathan,
surface level
and I was talking to
measurement.
refracted.
And that measurement is from within this ball.
So Nathan really took over on that, right? And you can only hear this because this is coming from my recording, because I was in the Discord server. So you can hear Elderbear. If you were listening to Nathan Oakley, he's got his gating so high that you wouldn't be able to hear Elderbear in the background there trying to do that. But I think you asked to talk to John, and John didn't really get a chance. He was trying, but Nathan overtalked him. I think Nathan completely rode over John. I don't know why John wasn't allowed to represent himself about the points that he'd said.
Yeah. He does say that later in their kind of licking their wounds after they scurried back to the flip side. He said, I did rumpus you there, John.
Yeah.
On screen. That measurement would be acquirable with a sextant. That's why it's diagrammatically exampled here as the elevation angle for.
It'd be so
a
much better
latitude
if
line,
Nathan had ever
which would be
measured an
measurable
angle.
with a sextant.
Like he
Earth's
would
measured
know.
flat with sextants. Yes, thank you for playing. Really appreciate.
No.
Double down again. Well done. Nathan thinks you measure the Earth flat with a sextant. And there's nobody there to sort of help him out, to point him out and say, it's an angle in the vertical plane, Nathan. How can that possibly measure the Earth flat? Like, what are you talking about? Imagine everybody that's ever measured an angle in the vertical plane having to think, oh, you know what? Nathan Oakley pointed out the other day, this is measuring the Earth flat. I don't think anybody will ever say that, the big revolution that's waiting for. It's not coming. Look how much there is. There's bloody loads of this.
The sextant does not measure an elevation angle, and it does not measure the Earth flat.
That's how Earth is measured.
So we can clearly say that the sextant does not measure an elevation angle.
It does. It's on screen now for my audience. I've got
The refracted would disagree with you.
Elevation angle for latitude capable of acquisition with a sextant. That's a measurement with a sextant of latitude.
All right. This one.
Or you don't draw a horizontal line with the C sextant. When you draw your two lines, it isn't until you apply dip correction that your baseline becomes horizontal.
Oh. Get that in there.
It's on screen now for my audience. I've got
The refracted would disagree with you.
Elevation angle for latitude capable of acquisition with a sextant. That's a measurement with a sextant of latitude.
Or you don't draw a horizontal line with the C sextant. When you draw your two lines, it isn't until you apply dip correction that your baseline becomes horizontal.
Refracted curvature disagrees, though.
No, Nathan. My name's Nathan.
No, I was talking refracted curvature, and as I quoted, he disagrees. He said it's not an elevation angle.
Yes, flat Earth measurement of latitude. That's correct.
Well, refracted curvature said it's not an elevation angle.
You've lost. Well, yes, we measure Earth flat.
No, I haven't lost.
That is correct. That is how Earth is measured. It's on screen now for my audience.
All right, I'll just put this. This one.
Well, if you're defining an elevation angle, as being having a horizontal baseline, your baseline needs to be horizontal. So that's what the dip correction does. It makes it horizontal.
If you brought the sextant down where your eye level and surface level were at the same point with that sextant, where you didn't have to do a height of eye correction.
Well, I'm talking about the actual function of the sextant. You know, its function. Its function is to measure an angle, is it not?
Ignore it. The question that's been put to Elderbear, whether or not he ignores it, I'll just repeat it indefinitely for John, is that if you bring the sextant to the sea level, therefore no dip correction being made, then you'll be measuring Earth flat with the sextant to get around his seeming gotcha. Let's see if Elderbear can cope with responding to that.
Wow, I like that. If I sort of put my eye I suppose it depends on the tide, right? You obviously don't want a high tide, do you? Because you'd be underwater if you were at that. If that's what you want to do. Or, you know, like, or is he just suggesting that you sit in the water? Don't know, you'd have to ask Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's just trying to dodge it.
Yeah.
Trying to say, but when you're here, it is an elevation angle, so it does do it.
You dig a
Making
hole
a
in the
difference,
ground.
Yeah. I mean, how many people have you seen with a sextant or a rubber dinghy or a life raft or laying on a surfboard so they can be on the surface of the water with a sextant, just so they don't have to have a dip correction.
Still got an angle,
Just
though,
dodging,
right? Yeah,
dodging
yeah.
it.
It's got an angle.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about this angle. It doesn't matter at what elevation you actually are at. That's what he seems to be missing. Like him saying, if you put your eye to the ground, doesn't negate the fact that it doesn't matter at what elevation you are when you measure this angle. It's weird. It's as though they don't understand what the angle actually is when they're measuring it. And that's maybe because they've never measured an angle. But you prove us wrong, Nathan. Any of you. Strange.
Well, that's a calculation. That's not a measurement. And you don't get that from the sextant.
That's not a calculation.
But he's
That is
talking
just
about how you use a
solid
sextant.
measurement.
Hold on. He's just asked you about how you use a sextant specifically. That's not from a sextant. When measuring with
calculation, the dip correction is not from the sextant.
At the sea level, is your comprehension a bit lacking? You just said
Where
it's
do you
not
get
with
the
a
dip correction, Nathan?
detailed the measurement with a sextant.
He brought it down to
Wait.
the level.
Where
What,
do
the
you,
sextant?
where do you
Sextant? Yeah. Elder Bear, who's now yakking through me pointing this out,
Sea
has
level.
just specifically said, not a measurement with a sextant. Yeah, Neil's now reiterating it. I've reiterated it. Yeah, it is. I mean, his comprehension's obviously clearly lacking because he doesn't seem to listen. Yes, measurement with a sextant at the sea level.
where is the dip correction derived?
You don't need dip correction. He brought it down. John, repeat your freaking example.
We've said it. You've said it. I've said it. He doesn't like it.
That's
'cause it
not-
means his point
that's
fails.
not a
Now he's
measurement.
yakking me again. His point's failed. Saying, nah,
No,
don't
it hasn't.
measure us. We've got to make
No,
a
I
dip
think you're
angle.
just dodging it, Nathan. You're just dodging it, aren't you?
Yes. Yes, Nathan Oakley is dodging that question. John is obviously... Well, I mean... I don't know whether to Nathan that Nathan's heard John. I mean, he might have just completely blanked it out when John said this is a warning. He might not have, heard that when John said that. So
Maybe not.
he may be unaware of what has been said by John and what John's defending. Because John knows he said it. He's trying to get it out of it now, and Nathan's obviously going along with what John said because it helps him. John is Nathan Oakley's special friend, I think, the one that helps him.
Yeah, he's his favourite. So it's his favourite. I mean, this was addressing, this was addressing the statement John made. All this stuff they're doing now is surplus.
Yeah.
Not addressing the questions, not addressing the statement, not addressing the sentence, it's not an elevation angle, does not provide a horizontal reference. Neither of the lines are horizontal. That's what he said. They're just desperately trying to get to the place where they can claim some elevation angle and not address, what I was asking them.
Okay. There's only a few.
Refracted has clearly said that the sextant does not measure an elevation angle. It does not derive a horizontal reference. Neither of the lines in the angle, are horizontal.
Go down to sea level with the
Okay.
sextant. What I hear in response, that's not a sextant measurement. He's given a very specific.
No, the dip
example.
correction. The dip correction is not a
That's
sextant
very
measurement. No.
No, definitely not.
Refracted. Where does the dip correction come from? Where is it on the sextant measurement?
If you're at sea level with your eye level, you don't need a dip correction.
Fifth time it's been said. It's the fifth time.
No, you're dodging as well. You're dodging
You
as well.
stuttering little bitch. I'm going to shut you
I'm
up.
not
if you-
Wow. That doesn't take long. Yeah, he's not addressing it again.
Sorry, a little bit.
You said you don't correct
sorry.
it when you're at the sea level.
I'm just.
With a sextant making a measurement, you dumbass. Either
You're
address
not
it
at
or I'm
sea
going to
level.
you out, you dumbass.
You're on a
Can't-
ship above the sea. With the sextant,
Can't-
you are above.
6 times.
You're above the
6.
level of the sea with the sextant.
We're not using your example. We use John's.
Oh, it was John's example.
Yeah.
But John said categorically that the sextant does not measure an elevation angle, right?
Well,
That's
I'm
correct,
pointing
is
out
it?
I'm with this pathetic idiot yakking through the top of the example for the 7th time. He's overcome your objection, which is that you need to make a correction, therefore it's not making an elevation angle. Now I'm summarising your position.
I think you did quite well though to not get muted.
Why did Refracted say this is a warning to everybody out there?
To Apocryphon 3538, who says, "Good job, Nathan, destroying these brain-dead morons. You can't grasp the measurements, have corrections to match the mathematical construct that gives them their fake model. Amazing how dumb they lie. And that's not quite great in English, but thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Also, Calric, thank you very much indeed. Earth's flat and space is fake. Have a good day." Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
You've also said that the globe comes from flat Earth measurements. That's correct.
Moving on, you haven't acknowledged what we do. This is your tact, right? So you pull.
No, you ducked it. You ducked it.
Not measuring flat Earth elevation angles. They do. Now you're moving on to something else, even though we've
Refracted said they don't measure elevation angles.
You've said it.
I think you did well to get back to Refracted there because Refracted didn't really get to say anything. And I don't know if that's because Refracted, was shying away in the corner to keep out of from, saying that, or whether Nathan literally didn't want him to say anything, whether it was like, protecting him from hurtful questions that Elder Bear might ask him.
Well, or protecting Nathan from his version.
Yeah.
But he needs his audience to hear. Refracted Curvature withdraw his statement.
You haven't acknowledged us, so you're just rude. Not actually.
Will Refracted Curvature withdraw his statement?
Now you're yakking through the top of me pointing out how rude you are. You haven't addressed what's been put to you. Your incorrect assertion.
I think you didn't address it either, Nathan.
I'm going to remove Elder Bear. Sorry, Elder Bear, you don't get to take part anymore, dickhead. Just without Elder Bear yakking through the top of me. So, in response to Elder Bear, when you measure an elevation angle with a sextant, it's not an elevation angle because you have to apply dip correction. That's his point. John's response, no, you can take it down to the sea level, no corrections needed, therefore you're measuring an elevation angle. That's Earth being measured flat with a sextant. What's that?
No, Nathan, you've completely missed the point. John said that you don't get an elevation angle with that. Not Elder Bear. So that's the bit that should be corrected. But, we'll go back and listen to this bit more.
John's response, no, you can take it down to the sea level, no corrections needed, therefore you're measuring an elevation angle. That's Earth being measured flat with a sextant. What's that? It's not a sextant measurement.
He knows how to push out Nathan's buttons.
Don't need him yakking through the end of the conclusion, so it's summarised nice and concisely for my audience's ears, that you can understand. The yak happy can just be removed from this point forth. If you're going to talk through the conclusion, when you fail, when you lose, Elder Bear's a loser. Pathetic moron. He thinks that because we make dip corrections, we're not measuring Earth flat with a tool that measures angles from surface level. Doesn't matter that we give 7 diagrammatical examples and overcome his objection about the correction. He's still going to yak through the top of the conclusion, isn't he? Because he's lost. Earth's measured flat with a sextant in this example. Simple.
Double down.
Yeah, the anathematization of Elder Bear there. She said, Elder Bear's a loser. That's, gets the heresy going towards treason.
Well, I mean, it's about time the conversation should happen, right?
Yeah.
Does a sextant establish an elevation angle, or is there some extra work that you might need to do? Because I mean, flat earthers can't even, measure an angle to start off with, but they don't know about the rest of the stuff that has to happen after that. Then, might be something worthwhile putting in a book, you'd think.
Yeah. I mean, the point for me is that, they measured an angle. Measured an angle with a sextant. It's not a horizontal measurement. It's not an elevation angle. And so they have got an angle. They've been able to measure an angle that doesn't need a horizontal, doesn't have a horizontal, doesn't establish a horizontal. It's not an elevation angle. They said that can't be done. So it requires that there's a horizontal to measure an angle. It's a requirement. Is
Yeah.
but as refracted curvature says, it isn't, and it doesn't. So it is possible to measure an angle, but it doesn't rely on the surface.
Yeah.
Without horizontal. Yeah, that's the whole point of that. That's confirmation. That's why, to me, it's okay. I saw it right then. Even with you guys, you've now admitted that it is possible to get an angle without needing to have a horizontal to establish it.
Yeah.
So you could have
just
that
measure
anywhere.
an angle, and there'd be no horizontal there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can calculate away afterwards. If you want to try and
Yeah.
imagine that there's a horizontal somewhere in the middle of your angle, but maybe not in the middle. Maybe at the bottom edge. Maybe near the top. Who knows?
So if you were standing on a really big ball, you could still measure an angle.
Hmm?
If you stand on a really big ball, any tool that establishes a horizontal reference will not lose its properties to do so.
Yeah. If you're fitting
It's
solar
spirit level
panels and
still-
you're on someone's roof, you can still measure
Yeah.
an angle.
Yeah.
So yes, I think we've probably gone over this. I think we've done I mean, we don't want to overdo it. It is just about the elevation angle.
Yeah.
It was something that was stated to have proved, like as you've heard, Nathan Oakley quote, that the Nathan Oakley angle, but measured by the sextant that Nathan Oakley's never measured. That angle is available for, measuring the Earth flat, apparently. But it, according to John, his favourite, it doesn't establish a horizontal. So I think any old angle now can be imagined that there's a I think that imagining horizontal might be enough. That's probably the new way to measure the Earth flat. If you imagine horizontal, and you can do that anywhere, basically. See if we can sell that one to Nathan. Do you reckon?
Steve will be coming. He's turned into aggression recently. He needs to be a bit careful now. He's getting pretty violent in his language, punching people and knocking them out and kicking them on the ground and all sorts. So I don't know how much more he can take, really. But he's the expert, and that's kind of where you go. I mean, that's when I came along. That's what I was seeking. People who sounded or knew what they were talking about, and go, okay, that's a strong position from that point. Somebody who has this expertise or knowledge. And Nathan says he is an expert in this subject matter. As he says, he's an expert in microphones now. But you could ask him a question about microphones, but certainly nothing about flat Earth.
I'm just seeing whether I can get the Nathan Oakley, the most recent king of flat Earth.
If they come to me,
Right, here we go. Let's see if I can get this on. Getting ready to finish up here. Where is it? There you go. Right, I'll play this. This is a little bit of a tune I made. Oh, wait a minute. I need to move your window over so you can see this. Okie dokie. Back soon.
there are how it's measured flat.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
An unequivocal proof of how Earth is dealt with, navigated, built on, charted. Those are the things that will, if in my humble opinion, I found those things when I got here, I'd have gone, well, that proves it then. For the first maybe 5 years of this subject, I had a good belief, a very strong belief in an Earth that's flat, because that's what I was looking for. And I spent 10 years not finding it. Now I want to give that out. In the last 5 years, the 5 years following that, I know it's flat, and I spent 10 years not finding it. Now I want to give that out. That's how it's being measured in all instances, without any examples that you can demonstrate that are the contrary of that fact. Ergo, Earth is, and always was, measured flat by everyone always. Except me. I've never really measured Earth in any professional capacity. I'm not a cartographer, I'm not a navigator, I'm not building anything or sailing anywhere or charting anything or mapping anything. So why would I need to measure Earth? It's not about me. It's about Earth. And in terms of the arbiter of what Earth is, it's dictated by how we measure it. And we measure Earth flat.
Everyone else always measures it flat.
Welcome to Flat Earth, one and all.
And I don't know how.
I'm a professional flat earther.
All I know is that I have not.
It's got nothing to do with me. I didn't measure Earth flat.
Everyone else always measures it flat.
Earth is measured flat. Yeah, we measure Earth flat. By everyone, always. Okay? Good for you. These are facts. Yeah, we measure Earth flat. Don't have to like them. It's got nothing to do with me. I didn't measure Earth flat. I've never flown a plane. I'm not going to claim to. Yeah? Except me. I've never really measured Earth. It's measured flat by everyone. You and your flat Earth measurements. Measured flat by everyone, always.
Everyone
Good for
else
you.
knows I believe.
You are stupid.
I believe.
Yeah?
Everyone
It's got nothing to do with me. I didn't measure Earth flat. And not me.
I believe.
You actually believe the Earth is flat? And not me.
Everyone else believes the impossible.
And not me. None of us here believe the Earth is flat. Good for you. You actually believe the Earth is flat? Same goes for any other subject. Not talking about how Earth is built on flat. I'm not building anything.
Everyone else believes the impossible.
And not me.
But not me.
None of us here believe the Earth is flat.
I know it's not
Measured flat. Not me.
I know it's not
me. You are hello. I'm a professional flat earther. I do this for a living. I've done it for 10 years. I'm considered an expert. Okay. Good for you. You and your flat earth measurements.
It's my opinion that everyone has.
I despise your average flat earther. I think most flat earthers are complete retards. Yeah? Earth is measured flat.
Everyone else always measures it
By
flat.
everyone, always. And not me. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with me. I didn't measure Earth flat.
It's my opinion, you don't know that, and I don't know how. I just know, I know that it's not me.
And not me.
It's my belief, you measure it flat. You always measure it like
That's
that.
what it's about.
Not up to me to measure it
Flat.
flat. My lack of belief means I
You and
know
your flat
everyone
earth
else always
measurements.
measures it flat.
Now you can suggest that this is me pushing a conspiracy theory. It's not. It's me pointing out bleeding measurements.
I know
Okay.
everyone
Good for you. Everyone always measures Earth flat. Okay. Good for you. Do you actually believe the Earth
None
is
of us
flat?
here believe Earth is flat.
Not me. Everyone always measures Earth flat. Yeah.
Yeah, we measure it flat locally.
Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. Now, if you can't figure out what the conspiracy is, that's your fault. You're stupid. Who cares what I have to say about it? Earth is measured flat. By everyone always. Do you actually believe the Earth is flat? You are stupid. It's got nothing to do with me. I didn't measure Earth flat. Not me. You and your flat Earth measurement. It's not flat Earth. Flat Earth's been shilled into being a nonsensical feast of nonsense. Garbage waffles spewed by shills. That's what flat Earth in quotes is. So stop making it about me, eh? You measure. Everyone always measures Earth flat with Man, Dan. Try not to make it about me. So stop making it about me, eh? You are stupid. Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. Earth is measured flat. By everyone always. Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. Everyone always measures Earth flat. Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. The Simon Dan measured Earth flat, didn't he? Okay. I'm not. Earth's measured flat. Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. Everyone always measures Earth. These are axiomatically linked to every measurement of Earth ever. Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. I despise your average flat earther. You and your flat Earth measurements. Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. I think most flat earthers are complete retards. You and your flat Earth measurements. You are stupid. Not me. You and your flat Earth measurements. Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. Everyone always measures Earth flat. Okay. Good for you. Locally flat measurements of an Earth.
Everyone's talking about measurements, so who else are you going to put it on?
Except me, I've never really measured Earth. Me, I didn't measure Earth flat. Not me.
Measured the circumference of the Earth.
You have two choices. Deny that you measured Earth's surface, flat, or the angle to the sun. Or get on your knees in acknowledgement of the flat Earth that you required it to be to measure it. We measure Earth flat. Except me, I've never really measured Earth. Not me. Who cares if he still believes it's a ball, but it's okay to measure it locally flat?